I'm Gretchen Sable. I'm president of League of Women Voters ABC. Tonight, we're pleased to have people from the Anoka Conservation District here to talk to us about their programs and the work that they're doing and how they can help us in our pollinator efforts. I'm going to turn it over to Mary Jo Truchon, who is a member of the LWV ABC, League of Women Voters ABC, and she's also an elected supervisor on the Anoka Conservation District. So in her two hats, she will introduce the program.
I believe we're going first with Chris's video. Is that correct? Okay. Well, I did want to also introduce Glenda Mikesell, that if she's signed in already, she is on our board on the ACD, and she's a member of the LWV ABC. We have a former member, our newest board member on ACD, Colleen Weirden, I believe, was a member at one time. So the three of us on that board have much in common. So I believe we are going to see our manager, Chris Lord, on a very recent video, which was recorded at North Metro TV. And this year, this is our 75th year for the ACD in Anoka County. And we completed a Herculean effort, 10-year comprehensive plan, and Chris was interviewed to give us a little little taste of our 10-year plan, which you're all invited to take a look at on our website if you so desire. But he will fill you in on what it's about. Are we ready with that?
Yep, so I will be sharing my screen here, and this should work the way I want it to. If you guys have trouble seeing or hearing, share is on, sound is on, here we go.
The Anoka Conservation District is tasked with finding ways to improve the county's soil and water resources. The district does this in a variety of ways, from trying to stabilize shorelines to installing rain gardens and to salvaging rare plants from future construction zones. Recently, the district has adjusted its focus and started looking at how every action has a rolling impact. Danica Peterson has the story.
The landscape across Anoka County changes dramatically from north to south, but beneath the surface, it stays pretty similar.
We're in an area called the Anoka Sand Plain. Our soils are different here than they are anywhere else, in the metro, so we're believed to be a really important contributor for groundwater recharge. It's essentially fueling the groundwater needs of the entire Twin Cities. 2 million people need us to manage our landscape well, to keep water soaking into the ground, to refill the aquifers.
Meaning the county and what happens on our land and in our water has a lasting impact. The Anoka Conservation District recently released its 10-year comprehensive plan, showing the areas it hopes to work on and improve.
Early on in the process, we realized you can't just manage water without managing the living landscape, the plants and animals on it, and you can't do that well without also managing soils, soil health and whatnot. So if we really want to do good, even just with water, we can't ignore the rest. Everything's interconnected and interdependent.
Projects that might seem small or insignificant can in fact have lasting benefits for the environment, even a small pollinator garden.
And that helps pollinators, and that's all it does, except maybe it doesn't. The roots start going deeper into the soil, and it loosens up the soil, so the rain that falls on that spot of land just soaks in. It doesn't run off into the road anymore.
Other benefits might include mowing a little bit less and using less gasoline, or not fertilizing that area, leading to less runoff.
You think this little tiny simple action helps pollinators, may help recharge groundwater a tiny bit, just a tiny bit, may help reduce runoff, may help reduce anthropogenic toxins, and by that I mean pesticides and herbicides and other things that people are using because they're using less.
Knowing that small actions, like planting a pollinator garden, can have lasting impacts. During the comprehensive planning process, Chris Lord and his staff looked at 283 different actions.
In our process, we looked at every action we could do, and we asked ourselves these questions. How well does this action help improve this resource and this resource and that resource? And we ended up creating essentially a digital web of all the little strands that are all connected. So now what we can do is if I pick an action, I can see what my return on investment is. It's not just about pollinators, I know now. If I do that little garden, it's going to give me tons of tiny little bits of benefit all over the place. And it just helps me objectively look at all these actions and say which ones really pay out.
The goal is to find which actions lead to the most improvement and do those actions the most often. For North Metro TV News, Danica Peterson reporting.
The Conservation District will look at how to improve the ecosystem and plan to find ways to educate property owners about their impacts as well.
Well, thank you, Winter, for running that. And that was Chris Lord. And we on the board are pretty sure that he's about the best manager in the state of Minnesota of a soil and water conservation district. And he comes by all this knowledge and dedication because he has served our ACD for the last 30 years. So he's a local boy who started working for the Conservation District 30 years ago. I think that's amazing. And he's better every year. Well, we also have another wonderful employee, and that is our Emily Johnson.
My brain goes. Alright, I'll be on the basement if you need something.
Okay, are we getting it again?
Okay.
All right. So Emily Johnson is here with us tonight, and she's our education and outreach coordinator for our Anoka Conservation District. She's basically, especially in COVID, she's basically the face and voice of what we do, representing us in the community. I have been able to attend some of her programs, and that was probably pre-COVID. But she works with our partners to provide this information, useful information. She has on any number of subjects, from producing educational videos to storm drain stenciling, and maybe she'll talk about the new way that is done. Emily, did you want to get started?
Great, thank you, Mary Jo, for that lovely introduction. Let me get my screen shared here. Have a short PowerPoint for you all. Oh, we're not at the start. Let's start at the start, shall we? So hopefully you can all see my screen here. Yeah, so as Mary Jo said, I am the Outreach and Engagement Coordinator with the Anoka Soil and Water Conservation District. And today I was really asked to come talk to you all about our comprehensive plan, which we just watched that brief video about, as well as give you some more resources specific to pollinator planting. So today we'll just do a brief whirlwind tour, and then I'll end with some resources for you all as residents of Anoka County. And I do want to note, if you have questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to interrupt me. I enjoy being interrupted. I know some people do not, but I do. So please at any time unmute yourself and just jump in, and I'll be happy to take a pause and we can answer questions. So we'll just jump in here. I wanted to make sure everybody had some brief introduction to the Anoka Conservation District before getting into the meat of the presentation. So as was mentioned, Mary Jo, and if Glenda is here as well, they are both on the Anoka Conservation District Board of Supervisors. So they also have a lot of knowledge on what we do as an organization. But in essence, what we do is conserve and enhance Anoka County's natural resources for the benefit of our current generations, but also future generations. So our vision is down there in the bottom left: strong partnerships, innovative solutions, and healthy environments. And that's really where the core of our work takes place. And like we just watched, you can rewatch for yourself the interview with our district manager, Chris Lord, on the North Metro TV channel. The link is quite long, it's down there at the bottom. I plan to share this PowerPoint with you folks at League of Women Voters, so you're welcome to share it around to your membership. So you'll have that link at a later time. But this, the interview that Chris did was really great. It shows the interconnectedness of all the things that we do at Anoka Conservation District. And it also shows our lovely Keystone Endeavor wheel, which is here again. So this wheel was really kind of the backbone of what our comprehensive plan is working to do. These are our hopeful visions for the future of what our projects will achieve. We hope to do all of those things in that wheel, and we can look back after 10 years and kind of decide if we succeeded or not. So this comprehensive plan really gives us a vision for the future, which is quite exciting. And I wanted to pull out as well a brief quote from that North Metro TV interview that Chris gave, that projects might seem small or insignificant can actually have lasting benefits for the environment, even a small pollinator garden. And the reason we say that is that all these small projects really do add up to have a big impact. So we do recognize that large projects are great and small projects are equally great if we can get them spread across the landscape. So all of that is incorporated into our comprehensive plan. And I know that I'm not going to have time to really go step by step through our entire comprehensive plan, but if you are interested in reading it for yourself, this is our website, www.anokaswcd.org. And you'll see there on the left under About Us is Administrative Reports. And if you click in there, you will be able to find our comprehensive plan. It's a several hundred-page document with many, many resources and readings available to you there. So you're welcome to read it on your own time. But in essence, what we have, these are screenshots of the chapters that are contained in the plan. So each chapter really dives into each of our resources that we're working with here in the county. The largest chapter is our surface water chapter, just given the amount of surface water we have in the county that we're working to manage. But other chapters include our ecological resources, our groundwater, soil, and even our community. And our community is our community of residents here in the county who are working with us to implement the actions in this plan. So you'll really have a wealth of knowledge if you go into the plan and read what's going on that we're working toward. So I did mention the backbone of the plan being this wheel. The second tier kind of piece of the backbone that we're working with to implement this plan is what we're calling the matrix. And I did just want to touch on this because some other plans don't implement this same sort of structure, but what we were able to do was look at all those actions, like was mentioned in the video. I think they said 280 something actions, and decide what the benefit was of each of those by looking at the return on investment. So that really helps us to prioritize what actions and what projects we want to focus on that will give us the most bang for their buck. So you can see in the bottom left, just a brief kind of diagram there showing what is contained in the comprehensive plan. So we try to we choose out our priorities and goals, objectives, and strategies and put those into the comprehensive plan. And then in upcoming years in each of our annual plans, we'll pull out more targeted actions that will be focused on for each individual year. So this is also a screenshot on the right from within the comprehensive plan that just gives an example of the sort of questions we can ask in the matrix and that they can help us answer. So, and then I did want to also point out that we do have an interactive projects map that shows all of our projects that we're currently working on and that we have done in the past. You can also find that from our website under the projects tab along the top, interactive projects map. When you click on that, it'll bring you to a page that looks like this. So you can scroll along on the top tabs and see the different project types that we're working on. And if you click on the little boxes on the left-hand side, that will bring you to more specific information for each of those projects that we're working on. So that was kind of the highlights of the comprehensive plan and the Anoka Conservation District in general. And now I'd like to really go more in depth about what you all can do, because I know that that was something I was asked to talk about. You all are active residents here in Anoka County looking to do great work, specifically related to pollinators, native plants, gardening. So I do have some resources for you all. And the first is I would really encourage you to connect with us on social media. We do have a Facebook page. We are Anoka Conservation District on Facebook. I post every day on our Facebook page, and I'll post updates on our projects or information about grants or other opportunities that are happening in Anoka County. So that's really the place to go if you're looking for up-to-date, minute-by-minute information on the projects that are happening here in the county. We do also have a blog and electronic newsletter that you can peruse. So on our website on the far right, you'll see that circle that is circling blog. So we post there several times per month, articles written by our staff. And then we also have newsletter that is emailed out to those on the mailing list. So you can sign up for that under Outreach e-newsletter archives, and that you'll be able to see all of the past newsletters, as well as there's a link there to sign up to be on our mailing list. So those also all, they're really timely. They send information on grants or other opportunities in the county. So if you're looking for up-to-date information, that's the place to go. And then also I would be berated quite heavily by our office administrator if I did not mention that we are currently taking tree orders for our tree sale. We do this every year. This is an annual thing. It's obviously very prominent on our website. You can see on our screenshots taking pre-orders for tree sale. We sell bare root seedlings, which are really great because they're grown in gravel beds, so their roots are really well developed and usually take very well when they're planted. So pickup for those will be April 24th, but you can order anytime up until the Thursday before that date. And you can order online or just give us a call and you'll be talking to Kathy, our office administrator, and she can definitely help you out with that. And I have another quote up there. It says, one 70-foot tall mature black cherry tree has the equivalent number of flowers as a 3,500 square foot perennial garden. So that's definitely something to think about, is that even if you don't have a huge amount of space to have a large garden of flowers, having a tree really does offer great pollinator benefit. And then I also have to mention, kind of straying away a little bit from our native plants, but there's a great big push here in Anoka County for the AdoptADrain program. The map on the right, each of those blue dots is a location of an adopted drain. You can see that they're spread quite far across the county, but we're definitely looking to increase participation in the program. So it's really easy to sign up. You go to that website there, www.adopt-a-drain.org. And in fact, we're actually hosting a community AdoptADrain challenge right now. So if you adopt a drain in one of the participating cities, that you'll be contributing to the effort to help your city win the challenge. And there are also some individual prizes as well for each month. So you can find more information on our Facebook page, in fact, about that. And it's not too huge of a commitment to. I know folks ask about that, but really it's just taking care of your drain and checking if there's any leaves or trash or other debris clogging the drain, and then removing that and throwing it away. And then you report what you clean out online, and that really helps, everybody to see what a great impact we're making with this program. And I was talking to ACD's Board of Supervisors last night, and I believe I did some calculations, and since the start of the AdoptADrain program in Anoka County, we've prevented approximately 500 pounds of algae from growing in our lakes and rivers, just based on the amount of pollution that we've removed from storm drains. So that's something that we can really be proud of. And as more people participate in the program, that number will obviously increase drastically. So I hope you consider participating. And now I'd like to talk a little bit more specifically about some of the grants that are available here in the county. So the grants availability will definitely change depending on where in Anoka County you live. So we'll start out with the Rice Creek Watershed District area. So that is the blue blob that says Rice Creek in kind of the bottom right-hand corner of Anoka County. They have mini grants, and each mini grant is up to $500. These can be used for native plantings, including pollinator garden plantings, or buffer strips, or turf alternatives, even rain barrels, or any other education or signage that you can dream up. The funding is first come, first serve. So I believe their stock is replenished every year. So if you aren't fortunate enough to get a mini grant this year, I would encourage you to reapply. And there's more information there on ricecreek.org/mini grants. And then in a similar vein, Coon Creek Watershed District also has water education grants. So Coon Creek is right there, the big blue blob in the middle of Anoka County. They also offer up to $500 for their grants, and similar projects as Rice Creek, but more focused on engaging people in activities about water resources. So it could be an event or a display or some sort of workshop related to water quality, water conservation, or signage, I believe too fits into that pool. Again, first come, first serve, and more information is on the Coon Creek Watershed District website. And then the next one I wanted to mention is, this just came through my email earlier last week, I believe, is the Mississippi Watershed Management Organization. They are just a tiny portion of Anoka County in the Fridley, Columbia Heights area, that small red little blob at the panhandle of Anoka County. They're offering up to $5,000. You have to be, you have to apply as part of an organization. So perhaps the league could be the entity that applies, but you can apply for habitat restoration projects or rain barrels, rain gardens, events, workshops, or any of those kind of mid-size water quality projects or educational signage as well. The deadline for that is coming up in about 2 weeks, April 2nd. But more information is on the MWMO website. And then I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the Anoka Conservation District's cost share opportunities. So we of course cover the entirety of Anoka County. There's a variety of programs that we offer cost share for. So one of those that might be interesting to pollinator friendly folks or folks looking to do more native plantings is our riparian pollinator habitat cost share. That is specifically for pollinator plantings in an area where they would benefit water quality. So that might be on a lakeshore or a riverbank or stream. And then we also do lakeshore restoration cost shares, riverbank stabilization cost shares. If you have a private well that is no longer being used, you can apply to have cost share funding to help seal that well, which is important, as Chris Lord was mentioning at the beginning in that video we watched, for protecting groundwater. So sealing unused wells is a great way to prevent pollution from getting into them. And also we do septic system fix-up grants. So if you have a septic system that is in need of repair, that's definitely something that we have cost share funding for as well. So all of those and more, there are more than this. These were the ones I picked out, but you're welcome to visit our website again and find all the information you could ever desire. And then I did want to also mention, because these are not getting as much use as they have in previous years, is we have educational resources, including brochures and displays that are available to the public. So anybody can borrow our displays, and they're on a variety of natural resource topics. You can see some of the brochures I pulled out here displayed on the screen, but we also have some others as well. And you're welcome to either print them on your own from our website or give us a call and we can schedule a time for you to pick them up. That would be helpful in a time post-COVID when maybe we can have some in-person events again, but otherwise they are available to you at any time. And then I just want to leave the screen up for a quick minute because I know folks have other questions, and these were some of the resources that I go to often. So the Blue Thumb website has a lot of great resources on what sorts of plants are good for Anoka County or wherever you are from. The U of M extension also has a great weed diagnosis tool that helps you determine whether or not a plant is a weed. Minnesota Wildflowers is really great for looking up native Minnesota plants. I also curate our conservation resource library, so that's on our website, and what is in there is just a variety of brochures, flyers from some of our partners about these different resources and different opportunities that are available. And then I pulled out too the Prairie podcast, which is hosted by the DNR. I'm not sure if a new season is coming out, but I greatly enjoyed listening to that podcast about prairie plants. So you're welcome to check that out as well. And then here we have a list of all the staff that work at Anoka County and our website again and phone. I'm listed there on the right-hand side about the middle. So you're welcome to email me about anything that you saw in this presentation and I can connect you with the person on staff who can best assist you. But maybe I'll leave this screen up for a bit and see if I can see the chat, if there's any, and there are questions. Great. So someone says, I have to add the drains on our block to adopt them. Yes, so thankfully the AdoptADrain program did recently allow or add the function of adding drains to the system. So that means that anybody across Minnesota can adopt a drain. some places have drains already on the map, but if they're not on the map, you're welcome to add the drain that you clean out. Someone else said Columbia Heights has adopted a lot of drains, but we need to adopt more. Yes, I agree. League of Women Voters ABC will post these links on our blog. Okay, yep, Gretchen said that you'll be sure to have all of these resources after this presentation. And then, I'm sorry, will we have access to the slides? I will certainly share them with Gretchen and she will figure a way to get them to you all. Hopefully I'm not blocking my screen with my chat window. Anyway, let me stop sharing and then I'm happy to stick around as long as you all like and just chat or answer questions. So let me know. Thank you very much.
Could I mention a couple of things, Emily? One of the in the brochures you showed, which anyone can download from our website, correct?
That's correct.
You showed the covers, but we do have a native plant brochure. I know you're all better on website resources than I am, but that brochure is very useful if you want to print it out for yourself. It's a full color inside. It's like a threefold, and those are the suggested native plants to use in our area, and with nice pictures. If you go on that wildflower site for the whole state, those are amazing pictures, and they were actually donated by a man who was going to publish a book, and he decided he would just give all of those beautiful pictures to everybody, and so that's a very good resource. I also
Mary Jo, I just pulled up the native plants brochure so you can all see. This is what you would see if you went on our website, and like Mary Jo said, we have suggested plants for different soil types and sunlight conditions. So this is just what the trifold brochure looks like. So you can download and print on your own.
You're starting out, I mean, that's a very helpful resource. Not too confusing with too much information, but it has all the necessary stuff. And I wanted to add, I'm sorry I didn't get this to you earlier, Emily, but I just found out about it, another grant source. And that I just found out by finally opening up my Anoka County News. And we're seeing this backwards, I'm sure. But in our most recent Anoka County News, there's an announcement of a health-focused grant opportunity called SHIP. There's my cat, she likes this, I guess. Statewide Health Improvement Partnership. These are small grants. And Emily, you did such a great job of having this on a slide. I wish I had a slide. The funding is in the form of mini grants up to $3,000 per project proposal. It's supposed to increase sustainable opportunities for social connectedness through healthy habits like eating, physical activity, mental well-being, gardening, getting people to quit tobacco, etc. So any group can apply for this. You don't have to be a registered organization, but it should be a consistent, sustainable group within a neighborhood or community. Now, Emily mentioned League. If someone wanted to take it on, could go after this. The deadline is coming up March 31st, a little before the April 2nd one. But you have the opportunity, if you wanted to organize as a group, to get this money to spread around to work on a number of pollinator gardens. I think for a small pollinator garden, I mean, that would be a lot of money for one, but it could be spread around in the community. I know there's a group called and Pollinators. The Andover group is
the Andover Pollinator Awareness Project.
Awareness. If a group like that wanted to apply for this, they would have, I think, a decent chance of getting it, or a club or any neighborhood group. It says here is would be considered. I also finally got around to reading my Sunday paper, and there was the same announcement in the Star Tribune. So these are statewide grants, but Anoka County applied for this one, and I'm glad they did. So I hope that we get some people from here who want to use that money for small pollinator garden type projects. You can, there's a phone number you can call. We can get this information down, but it's in your, if you get your county news bulletin, it's 763-324-4344. You can also, if you're smarter than I am, go to ship@county.anoka.mn.us, and you can get all the information you need. You would know by April 14th if you get, so that's plenty of time. You know, that's even before the last frost date, you could know whether you had received this money or not. So Emily, I'm sorry you couldn't make a slide out of that, but I was kind of way behind on my reading because we've been getting ready for our legislative effort this week.
Yeah.
So that's all I had to add. And what I would like to do is encourage you to ask questions now if you have any. And Emily, for sure, will probably know. I'll try to chime in if I know anything about it.
I saw that Julie Trude was on. Julie, do you want to say something about Andover's Pollinator Awareness Group?
Sure, I could do that. The Pollinator Awareness Group is mostly led by Cheryl Seaman, but they meet regularly with Andover's natural resource technician, Cameron Katonen, who some of you have worked with if you've had any diseased trees. And I think one of the things they do that's been most helpful is the demonstration gardens, because it really helps people understand if they're thinking of a rain garden. They help them see what it looks like and what the care might involve, and they show the plants. I think at the garden tours, they also help people who want to change their landscape. I've seen a large variety of landscapes. One of the projects I've asked them to think about working on is improving the appearance of some of our boulevards. Communities that were developed after the 90s do not have houses facing busy streets with a driveway and a front yard. They have a stockade look. They put a big fence up in the backyard to give them privacy, and then behind it's kind of no man's land. And it would be nice to see some of those areas with fewer weeds and maybe some things that grow better in the sandy soil. And they've looked at that, but they're going to be handing out trees and seedlings at the usual recycle days, and then they do a lot of education then. So those pamphlets might be helpful, and I've seen those. I think they have a table of those because I've worked with Girl Scouts in promoting the National Mayor's Water Challenge. And I was thinking about Girl Scouts as well. I saw some Girl Scouts posting on a community page that they want to plant some trees, but they don't have any, but they want to plant them. And where can they get some trees and where can they do this? And I thought there's always kids in Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and 4-H looking for projects. And I think that's one way we snag them. You get kids doing the gardening or the planting when they're little, and it becomes a lifetime hobby. So I don't know if there's any other questions.
I want to thank Emily and Mary Jo for the presentation tonight, and to kind of tie it all together, because when we see that we have a need and we have opportunities and we even have help in terms of money and technical expertise, there's no reason not to get going on these projects and really make things better. So I hope that people move forward with that, and you can share your successes through League of Women Voters, and we'd be happy to advertise success, because nothing builds success like success, right? And with that, I think we'll wrap it up if there aren't any more questions. So thank you all.
Could I share something?
Oh yeah, who said that?
Sure. This is Amada Marcus Simula. I'm the mayor of Columbia Heights.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much for the presentation. This was fantastic. We've actually just started, we've accepted the goal of doing the Mayor's Monarch Pledge, which is a project from the National Wildlife Federation. And some people on this call, I believe, are attending because of the Mayor's Monarch Pledge in Columbia Heights. So we are taking on a lot of action items to help the monarch butterfly and of course, all pollinators. And one of the best ways is native plants. So all of the things that you are sharing, I want to share on our website about the Mayor's Monarch Pledge in Columbia Heights. And just wanted to say, keep an ear out for phone calls from me, and we'll probably be wanting to share some of those brochures so we can hand them out when we do events over the summer, social distance, of course, events over the summer. So thank you so much for sharing this with the community.
You're welcome, and it's good to meet you virtually. I will say I'm not currently in the office. I'm still working remotely. So your best bet to get a hold of me is my email, but I can return calls that are on my office phone as soon as I listen to them. So just in case you're trying to reach my office phone, I'll have to return your call.
All right, wonderful, thank you, yes. And League, thank you so much. I'm a member, and was perfect timing that this was coming up. I saw in the newsletter and I was like, this is great, we're doing the Monarch Pledge. What a great resource, and just one more way the League is really looking into working with people, you know, from all over and bringing people into things, not just about voting. You know, we have lots of ways that we need to work together as a community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Amada, I think Sarah Stroman did the Mayor's Monarch Pledge in the city of Ramsey a number of years ago. It might be a potential resource. Is somebody from Ramsey familiar with that? Or Emily, are you familiar with their project? Winter is.
Yeah, so City of Ramsey, you are correct. When Mayor Stroman had the Monarch Pledge, it was at Itasca Park, I remember. I think it was in 2016 or 17. But yeah, City of Ramsey has done that project before, and I'm sure if you asked around, you would find some more information from the City of Ramsey. Yes.
I was
Fantastic, thank you.
Mary Jo again, if I may. I was very inspired. I heard about Columbia Heights adopting that Monarch Project, and it's so inspiring to me that so many people now, I don't know if COVID helped it along, are so interested in pollinators. It's just it's very heartening to realize that. I heard about this great effort and how many people were interested starting years ago in especially the monarch butterfly. And I used to belong to I can't go to their night meetings anymore, but I used to belong to the Native Plant Society of Minnesota. It's a great organization. If plants are their hobby, that's a great place to meet all the people who are the movers and shakers in Minnesota in native plants. And they take you on tours in the summer. But what I'm trying to get to here is we learned a lot there about things that you can do that you have no idea are going on. That organization worked with the Department of Transportation. You know, all of our highways, when any highway projects are done, of course, all the native stuff is disturbed. And just through bringing this to the attention of the Department of Transportation of Minnesota, we were able to ask them to, and they did, upgrade their seed mix. So when replanting after state highway projects, they are now using a good native mix. We also learned that every state from along Highway 35, the one we know so much about here, from Canada down to Texas, the highway department workers volunteer their own time to establish native plantings all along Highway 35. And I checked that out myself 2 years ago. We were going down to Dallas, and I made it a point to watch what the sides of the road look like. So at least from Minneapolis down to Dallas, only interrupted by some urban stuff, you know, there were beautiful blooming wildflowers. And I think Lady Bird Johnson had a lot to do with that effort. And it's all about making a corridor for the monarch butterflies. So much can be done by just a bunch of little people, like all of us, And I think we can do something for the pollinators. If we just get a plant from a neighbor. I mean, it doesn't have to be an expensive project. You showed us, Gretchen, your beautiful yard, and Linda Rogers showed hers. And I know that I have stuff to share too. If anybody wants a wild plum tree, I have more than I need in my backyard. But that's what I mean. If we really think about it, we can make a difference with the pollinator, bees, butterflies, whatever does it. Thank you. Thank you for having us tonight.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
thank you for having us.
I just wanted to jump in real quick. So once again, with the city of Ramsey, their Park and Rec department is actually putting on a Monarch Pollinator ongoing Park and Rec department series. They just held an online webinar there's a couple weekends ago, like Monarchs 101. There's going to be another event to learn specifically about the plantings, and everybody that attends that event will go home with some seedlings that they can plant in their yard. And then in the fall, if there's enough interest, there's also going to be a Monarch tagging event, which is really cool. This is put on in conjunction with the Monarch joint venture. And if Ramsey's in Anoka County, and just search their parks department, you can get all the info there. And it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I'm interested in it, not just because it's a city that I cover for work, but I am also interested in creating a pollinator garden. So it's a really great resource.
What was the date again, please?
I would have to double check on
that's
that
okay.
one.
I'll look it up. Thank you.
Yeah, let me.
Could you repeat what city that was?
The city of Ramsey.
Ramsey,
You can
thank
find,
you.
Yep, at cityoframsey.com. I'm double checking their city calendar right now. It's Plant Your Own Monarch Garden on Saturday, May 22nd.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Okay, well, thank you everybody once again. It's wonderful that our videographer is also a great resource, so thank you, Winter.
We're all in this together.
That's right. And so we'll see everybody again. Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone.
Yep,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.